What's up guys, we are back with more 3D Mario news because yes, we're getting a big 2D Mario game this year, but next year it looks like we are getting a big 3D one as well. Now if you watched my recent videos the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about how there's a big rumor that the next version of the Switch, or whatever the next gen console is going to be launching holiday next year with a big 3D Mario as a launch title. And a lot of reporters are reporting on this and saying that this is indeed what they're hearing from their sources, and it looks legit. So we've been talking about what they're going to do for this big Mario game, why it took almost 7 years for this Mario game to finally pop up, and what this game could be, and we might have a little bit more details on what this game is going to be like today, or at least what it's going to run under. Now this comes from, once again, Zippo, so take it with a grain of salt. We really don't know what's going to happen with this, but let's dive into what he said on his recent blog post. He states, Nintendo obviously needs no introduction, and neither do Epic Games. It's interesting then that the two haven't really had that much of a relationship with one another. That is until now. In 2019, Nintendo released the tepid Yoshi's Woolly World for Switch, which is supposed to be Crafted World, which is, I guess, I get what they're saying. They're pretty much very similar in the way they work. They're crafted, woolly, arts and craft Yoshi games. But anyways, as unremarkable as the game was, it was important for one thing. It was the first ever Nintendo game to use Unreal Engine. That game was made by Goodfeel, a studio Nintendo doesn't actually own. Now, 4 years later, we finally have our second game, that being Pikmin 4, of course. Having not played Pikmin 4 myself yet, I can already say that Nintendo's EDP studio knocked it out of the park. And yes, as someone who 100% of the game, I can say Pikmin 4 is a beautiful, completely amazingly built game from the ground up. I mean, really, it's almost perfect. I don't really think there was many bugs or any glitching or anything like that, and it's just beautiful to look at, from the environments to the objects that you collect and even the fruits and vegetables and stuff. Yeah, it's just pitch perfect. Like, it is on Luigi's Mansion 3 levels of, quality with how it was made. But just looking at the environments, the lighting, the particle effects, and the amount of detail they put in, it all looks incredible. That isn't the end of the story. From what I'm hearing, Nintendo and Epic have formed a rather large partnership in the background. In fact, a number of Nintendo-focused developers will start to be using their engine for certain upcoming games for Nintendo's next console, and goes on to name some of these studios and some of the games they'll be working on. Intelligent Systems with Fire Emblem, and they make the Paper Mario games. You have Game Freak, who make the Pokemon games, obviously. Monolith Soft for Xenoblade, and of course, Nintendo, EPD, Tokyo, and 1UP Studios, of course, Mario. And says, there are some real good choices here, am I right? I'm very excited and curious to see what the studios will bring to the table with Unreal Engine. If Pikmin 4 is anything to go by, we're in for an absolute treat. And then goes in to say, in fact, a little birdie has told me that a brand new major Mario title in the works for Nintendo's next system will be using Unreal Engine 4. Here's hoping that's one of the first games we see running on this thing. Things are starting to heat up with Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show right around the corner. We should be hearing more details about this newfangled system before too long. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's dissect this. It's pretty surprising to me because I even did the background research, and yeah, Yoshi's Crafted World and Pikmin 4 are the only Nintendo games right now on Switch that actually use Unreal Engine, which is insane. So of course we start talking about Unreal Engine 4 and the possibilities with other Nintendo properties and titles, and it looks like other studios are going to be using this engine very soon. But what does this mean on paper? Well, it means we're going to be getting some pretty good looking games. Yes, Unreal Engine is a very powerful development tool, able to show off some pretty insane graphics, which could mean your boy Mario could be looking juicy. But of course, before we start diving into that, let's look at Crafted World, because it's a game that I personally didn't see to be that extremely good looking. I mean, it does have really good environments, and it has this really cool storybook look and feel to it with arts and crafts kind of developing throughout each stage. It's a really good looking game, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I never would have guessed it was one of Nintendo's only games that utilizes Unreal Engine. Now, of course, when you talk about Pikmin 4, look at this thing. It just looks gorgeous. And to see a future potential Mario game looking as good as Pikmin 4 is kind of insane. Now, of course, it doesn't need to be hyper realistic like Pikmin 4, where everything just looks realistic from the fruit, from the items that you collect. No, that's not necessarily needed for a Mario game, but that's not to say that the Mario game isn't going to look insane. Now, any excuse I can talk about future 3D Marios, I'm going to take it. And that's kind of the purpose here, is talking about how this next 3D Mario is going to look. Now, I am not saying Mario Odyssey doesn't look good, nowhere near that. In fact, Mario Odyssey looks incredible. There's some really good looking realistic environments, but there's also lots of environments that are more cartoony and more, catered towards the Mario art direction. But I keep seeing things like New Donk City and even the Wooded Kingdom, and it makes me really think that these areas could turn into absolute beautiful locations done right under an Unreal Engine. I feel like one big thing that Nintendo needs to do with Mario in the next 3D Mario game is just expand these worlds. I don't necessarily think they need to go open world, like one giant interconnected world, but I think just bigger worlds. Instead of like 10 medium to small size kingdoms like in Super Mario Odyssey, maybe just like 3 or 4 gigantic worlds that Mario can explore, giving giant scenery with secrets and hidden details and stuff throughout the entire environment, really pushing people to explore everything, really making people want to play and see every nook and cranny of this game. Something like Breath of the Wild does, where it hits so many secrets through its gigantic map, and I think they could really have some interesting locations. And yes, I'm saying it again, I'm bringing it back up. Bowser's Fury. Yes, Nintendo Land, you said it 1,000 times. I'm gonna keep saying it until I see some type of evidence, because I know Nintendo made Bowser's Fury as a test run for Mario in more of an open area, and people loved it. It was just extremely short and a small area, but once again, it felt like a little test. Lake Lapcat is just one big test room where they wanted to test out Mario in this open space, doing challenges, collecting shine sprites, well, this time cat shines, and just doing little puzzles all over these different islands, and that he can, go to any island that he wants and literally just walk over there instead of having to go through some type of hub world or some type of world map. Yeah, this is the direction I think Mario should go. And imagine like 4 or 5 areas as big as Lake Lapcat for the entire game. That would be really cool. Or maybe just one gigantic, massive open world Mario. Now, I know some people are for that, some people are against it. It really depends on who you are. I still think it would work really well, just a world full of mini challenges and obstacle courses for Mario to complete. Sign me up. And it just sounds like that this Mario game is being very ambitious. Like, this isn't just another 3D Mario. This is something that they've been working on for a very long time. It would also, be a big reason why we haven't seen another 3D Mario since Mario Odyssey, and Bowser's Fury is really all we've gotten in between. It would really make sense if Nintendo just wanted to give us a taste of what's to come with an open experience Mario. And yeah, it's been 7 years. Well, it will be 7 years when this new console comes out next holiday. So man, yeah, it's been a long time. People are saying that this is the, the launch title for the new console, which apparently is going to be able to run 4K games. So we're going to see Mario like we've never seen him before, and probably the most ambitious 3D Mario yet. Of course, thanks to Unreal Engine, if this is the case, it's gonna look so good. But let me know in the comments down below, how excited are you still for this brand new Mario game? Thankfully, we do have one coming out very soon at the end of this year, being Super Mario Wonder, but at the same time, we are anxiously waiting for that 3D Mario, that juicy 3D Mario goodness that is definitely probably going to come by next year as a launch title for the next console. What do you want to see this Mario do, and what else do you want to see Unreal Engine actually be used for? What other games do you think would benefit a lot from this engine? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario and Nintendo in general, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.